Hi, thanks for tuning in here today. Today we're going to be doing a nice little fun painting. It should be pretty simple. Well, we'll see. I don't want to make promises, but thanks for tuning in here today. Glad you could make it. Today we're going to be doing a nice little, uh, kind of like a seascape mix with like forest, 50-50. There's no exact thing, but I just made like a little design. I put some liquid white on, and then I grabbed a little bit of my brown color, and all I did was just dap up some little designs. So where I want the clouds, where I want the water lines, and all that, just so when we're going, we have an idea, and it's more precise, more easier to get your idea onto there. So rather than that, let's just get started with today's painting. So I'm gonna pull out with a little bit titanium white and slightest touch of phthalo blue. Slightest touch. We're gonna go and slightest touch into alizarin crimson. Very little. Just tap it on the brush. Get those bristles in there. Let's come up here. That turned white. Guess I put a little too much white on my liquid white. It's alright. Here we are. There. I want this one to look like a intermediate painting, not too advanced. Also to save time, not too advanced, but not too wet on wet. If you guys really like the wet on wet style, leave it in the comments down below. And if a lot of people want the wet on wet style back, where it's just 30 minutes, no more than 30 minutes, if you guys want that style back, we could bring it back. If you like this type of style, you can keep this type. I like to kind of try new things and test what works and what doesn't. So we're in the testing phase right now. Okay. Shoot, we'll go into a little bit of Prussian blue, just a little bit. It's much, much stronger. There. And we can go into a little bit of titanium white on our 1 inch. Just tap it and just lighten this area up. Now, we have this area. I have some areas where you'd see the sky here. And yeah. So for that, I'm gonna go into a little bit of crimson, Prussian blue on my filbert brush. Just mix it up. And really all I'm gonna do is just scrub some color in there. Maybe a storm's on its way. Who knows? We're not the experts here, we're just painters. Just scrubbing on there. Let me grab our 1 inch brush and we'll just fluff it. We'll soften it. There. Lift up. And There has to be a few little clouds just coming in. There. We'll add some light to it. Just wiping off the excess paint of my brush. You don't want to have it too full with paint. And let's go ahead a little bit with that color and go into white. You want it polluted. You don't want it pure white. So it's like a grayish color. Oh, can't see. Hopefully right there when we zoom in. It's like a grayish color. Or right here, you can probably see it a little better. Let's come up here and just few little indications. Think where the light would hit and just go off. I like to kind of in these stages loosen up and just have at it. Boom. There. Blend it out. Lift up. Bada bing, bada boom. Let me step back and really take a good look at it because you may see it one way. Like if you take pictures, you might see it one way, but when you're painting it, depending on the lighting, that's what changes everything. And so you got to be satisfied with all the looks. I'm gonna just bring it up all the way. Let's come up here, a bit of blue. Shoot, what the heck? Well, I'll leave it like this. This won't really be the main focus. Anyways, lift up, go across, and we need to highlight the other cloud. Okay. Softly, just very gentle, lift up and go across. We're gonna use this brush actually. Let's go ahead, let's go into a little bit of Prussian blue on our 1 inch. And we'll take it through a little bit of phthalo blue. A little bit of both blues. To come up here and just scoop. Scoop. There. Just blending it off. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. And then right over here we'll see all this more vibrant. So using a little more phthalo blue as to oppose to Prussian blue over here in the front. And over here I want like a nice teal, a nice turquoise color. So for that I'm gonna go into a little bit of cadmium yellow, a little bit of blue. There we are. Look at that. I'm looking to a monitor to the side to see you guys could see perfectly. And we'll go a little bit of white to it. Look at that teal color. Hopefully you could see it good. You'll see it good on the canvas. So let's just let's just work up on here. There. There's gonna be the big wave. We can go into a little bit of yellow, just a little bit. Gotta be extra gentle, extra careful. And just right here, blend it off. I want a little more yellow in that color. It's too it's too similar to the color in front of it. Let me add some white, but onto the canvas, not the palette. Okay. There. Now, a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow, less yellow than white. I want mostly white. Well, polluted white, so like a teal color. And I just want like a little sparkle in that edge. More white. You gotta work your way through this and just blend it off. Okay, so we got that. Uh, let's go ahead and take a little bit of that teal, mix it with some Prussian blue, because over here there's more color, there's more vibrancy. There we are. Right around there. And then somewhere around here I had another layer of waves. Okay, there we are. We can go into our teal color and what's neat about this with doing it with teal is since there's blue around it, it's gonna stand out. It's going to stand out. So kind of helps make the wave stand out a bit more. A little bit of phthalo blue, and just come up here and block in. Now, let me wipe off my brush. This why it comes in handy having multiple of the same brushes, because then you can just easily switch different brushes and you're good to go. But it's alright. A little bit of brown. I'm gonna make like a rock where someone could stand on here, but they probably don't want to because they'd get wet. You know what? Right over here. To make it look like it's coming out or closer, I'm gonna do it at an angle. That way it looks like it's coming out, because if it's flat, it's gonna look more flat and more out there, as to oppose of if we angle it. And you'll see what I mean later on in the video. Once we're done, you'll see how it kind of points out. It won't be this sharp, but it'll be more rounded off. And over here, I had a rock. You kind of have to commit there, but you can work your way through. There we are. Once you start putting brown on teal, that's kind of hard to try to change. There. And we'll just swoop right underneath. And same thing over here. There. Okay. So what I want to do is let's go into a little more Prussian blue. Has a little bit of brown on my brush. It doesn't really matter. I need some shadow points. That way, when I put the highlights over it, it it stands out. Because if not, it's gonna blend in. We don't want that. There we are. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna blend this out a bit. Just pull it down and go across slightly. Pull down, go across slightly. Now, let's go ahead. Let's start working on our wave because time is not to spare. So we're gonna go ahead and go into some titanium white. Let's grab a little bit of that teal color just to kind of make it not as strong, not as vibrant. Because if you want to add more layers and you go with pure white, then you're screwing yourself over. So don't have to go crazy with it, but I like to kind of go a little heavy on the first round. So you could see right here, you could see right there how it's like a light blue. It's not white. And let's come up here. Why is it not going? It's just work it little by little. Now, I'm gonna try using a little bit of liquid white. Hopefully that solves the issue um, of the paint. If not, we're gonna have to think about it for a sec. I'm not too satisfied with it, but we're gonna keep working, and hopes. I think it was just too much of a light color. There wasn't too much contrast, but we're gonna keep working to really see if we can work something in there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and I'm gonna go with white. I'm gonna try as pure as I can because my brush is a bit dirty. That's why I say try. There we are. You can notice it a little bit more. And right over here. There. Okay, let's go ahead. It worked out pretty decently, so I'm not too worried about it. And let's just put in some foam with the filbert brush. There we are. Just little foam pattern lives in your brush. Okay. And over here. But I don't want to make it look like two separate ones. So I'm gonna put foam on top. Plus, who cares? It's your painting. You can do whatever you want. Once you get that first tube of paint, you have your own canvas. As long as it's not commission, you're good to go. A little bit of white, little polluted white. It's alright. And we'll just, you can kind of tap and drag. We'll tap and drag, tap and drag. Boom. Right around here. If we make everything else perfect and nothing else fails, it doesn't really matter about this if you think about it. So if you're always worried about one step, I would like to recommend you kind of relax a bit. Yeah, I'm not saying settle for something you're not satisfied, but take a little breather. Take a little breather and wait until you're done with the painting. Once you're done, that's a whole. Once you say, "Okay, I think I'm done," that's a whole different story. If you don't like it once you're done, shoot, you got to keep working on it. That means it's not done. But the beauty of that is it's practice. You get to keep learning. You get to keep exploring new things. If you're done, you should be done. So there's that aspect of it. A little bit of white, a little bit of liquid white, just to thin out that paint. More white. I want my liquid white to be a little more creamy. There. And what you can actually do is pull a little color. So just like so. So you want little sunrays. We'll get back to that. I don't know why I start things and go back to them later on, but you just blend that out and they look like little sunrays. Right around here. Boom, boom, boom. Just layering paint on top paint. There. Okay, let's blend this out. Just using the corner of your brush. Lift up, go across. I won't leave it at that. I don't want to think too much about that because also when you overthink things, it's probably best you move on because then you start doing things that you didn't want to do and it starts taking that drastic turn. Just putting a little darker colors right around here. And we'll clean off my brush by going through over here and over here. That's how you can clean your brush. They do wear out if you do that a lot, but I'm okay with it. It's up to you guys if you want to do that. A little bit of brown, a little bit of white. Let's test that out. Brown and white. See how it looks. Sure, I'm okay with that. It's nothing too calling, but it's subtle. It's kind of subtle. And I like that it's subtle. This one's gonna need more. And we can go into a touch of yellow just to kind of give it that hint. There. Stands out just a little bit more. Right around there. Just trying to shape out a few little rocks. We'll make them look better right now in a sec, but as of now, just block in the basic. Oh, let me show you guys how to do that light. You can blend it as bright or as dark as you want it. There. Simple as that. The hardest part was putting the paint on. Okay. Let me clean up my section of titanium white, or I'll pile it. We might have to come back and use it. You know what? We'll use it right now. Add a slight touch of blue just to make it a little more vibrant. And just with your palette knife, do a few little designs. Pretty easy. Just makes you look a little cool. You're painting a little cooler. And you too. They're gonna think, wow, he really did that. Don't tell them the secret. Shoot, by now they probably know with all the art videos up, but if they don't know, keep the secret. Okay. There we are. There, just pressure. Good amount of pressure. That's all you're doing. You're bending the knife so it can kind of force the paint to come off. And just pressure. Okay. Let me clean off my knife. Now, let's go ahead. Let's do something a little fun. Well, I say that, but maybe it might not be fun for you guys if you're starting out. Let's go into a little bit of Prussian blue on my fan brush. Just load it up. Now, let's make it seem like there's water on the rock. There. Like if the water was so strong, it just came up onto there. There. A little bit more. Just little taps. Okay. Now, can't leave it like that. If you leave it like that, people might know what it is, but they also might look at you weird. Or not you, but the painting. They might stand there and, what's that? So you want them to really know. So let's go ahead, let's put some white highlights onto it to really indicate that. So just adding a little bit of white to my color and just coming up here and Just those little details. You could do this with the fan brush, flat brush, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Right around here. And it has a slight, very slight hint of blue in that white, but because my brush was polluted. And we can spring up a few little foamy areas. Now we can go and maybe maybe there's some foam, some waves crashing into it, and water just. I know it covers all the hard work, but it's worth it for the foam. There, I'll leave it like that. Before we forget, little bit, little indications back there, just so that part doesn't feel left behind. We're giving all the attention to the big wave. They're just slight indication. We don't want the focus over there. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll grab a little bit of yellow and take it through our teal, brown, whatever color you have going on your palette. Mine's like a teal brownish. We'll add brown to our existing color. We'll go into it with a little black in there, little blue. There, right here. Boom. Okay. Light would probably hit somewhere around here. So I'm just pushing the bristles down of my brush just to kind of get that stapled effect. It will kind of fray them out, but all I care about is that top edge. The rest I can kind of tap it regular, like a Bob Ross style. It's just tweaking little things to hopefully make them look a little better. Let's come up here, a little bit of black, and we'll come and just right here, and just bring that tree to life. In the last series where we made the painting into a 4-part painting, it shows you how you can make these evergreen trees more uh, detailed, more realistic, a little more realistic. So if you want to do that, feel free to, after putting this base color, you grab a small brush and just those little leaves sticking out there, just about so. We'll stop it right here. Okay, a little bit of cadmium yellow, and let's come up here and add a little highlight indication, a little bit of liquid white. Try and be careful not to get too much liquid white. That could affect your painting too. There. If you have too much medium, it's going to make the paint too runny. There we are. I remember when I first started out, I struggled for a good amount of time with evergreen trees. I thought I was doing good, but like I back then I knew wasn't the best, but wasn't the worst. And when I figured it out, oh my god, I was celebrating too. Yeah, I got it. But it's just that zigzag motion that you have to kind of try to understand there. And if you want, you can put in another one. Let me add more detail to the water. Right around there. Just some foam. Okay. Just back and forth. Make it look as interesting as you can. And we can tap these lines out. A little bit of black. Load up my brush full with paint. And we'll add another one right here. Load up that brush and have at it. Once it starts turning more and more gray, you might want to flip the brush to get more of that black pigment. I didn't do that for the other one, and well, it's less contrast because less dark. There. And a little more highlight on there. Just the same way how you painted that silhouette. You're just tracing. Think about it like you're tracing. There. Okay. A little bit of light color right around there. A little bit of that darker color somewhere around here. And shoot, the rocks here, that doesn't really matter. All I care about is fixing this edge. So maybe right here goes down to here. There. Just grab a brush. Not this one. This one's good for blending. And a few little highlights. There. Just a little bit at a time. Just work it in. And let it blend out. And there. Well, with that concludes today's painting. I really hope you enjoy it. Try this painting out. If you do, send me a photo. I would love to see what you create. If you'd like to send me a photo, my email is down in the description down below where you could send it to me. I'd like to wish each and every one of you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye, my friends.